classic R2-D2.
Yeah.
We live. Or as Baby used to say, R2-D2 Wii U. Yeah. Classic.
R2-D2 Wii U.
Wii U. So cute. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess. We have ERIN today. Yay! It is the week of guests, as you know, and today ERIN and I are going to talk about D3, The Mighty Ducks. ERIN, as always, we're just going to talk about the notes, so we're going to jump to me doing all the info right now. D3, The Mighty Ducks is a 1996 theatrical release. It's directed by Robert Lieberman, cinematography by David Hennings, editing by Colleen, Halsey, and Patrick Lussier, music by J.A.C. Redford, and it's written by Stephen Brill and Jim Bernstein. Robert Lieberman is best known for Fire in the Sky, Falling Skies, Eve of Destruction, and The Expanse. David Hennings is best known for Horrible Bosses, Blue Crush, Last Vegas, and Very Bad Things. Colleen Halsey is best known for Edward Scissorhands, Joe vs. the Volcano, Sister Act, and So I Married an Axe Murderer. Patrick Lussier is best known for Drive Angry, Terminator Genesis, My Bloody Valentine, and Dracula 2000. J.A.C. Redford and Stephen Brill I've covered in previous videos. They will be listed and linked in the description. Jim Bernstein is best known for Love and Honor, Renaissance Man, Don't Look Back, and this. Everyone that stars in this film except one person I've covered in the previous two videos that covered the first two movies, and it's a major cast, as you know. It's a big hockey team, so I'm just going to list those two videos down below, and if you're curious who the kids are or who they play or whatever, what they're known for, I encourage you to check out those two videos because it's the same kids from the first one and the same kids who were sprinkled into the second one. They're all huge now. I digress. The only other person that's new to this movie that wasn't in the previous two is Jeffrey Nordling. He plays Coach Orion, and he is best known for Big Little Lies, 24, Flight 93, and I'm Dying Up Here. Paul Correa of The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim cameoed in the film. Brandon Adams didn't return. Brandon Quinton Adams, I've covered him in a lot of videos. He was a duck throughout the first two, but he did not return for this one. This film was supposed to be a lot darker, and the villains were going to be Bulgarians, but it got reworked into what it is now. It made $22.9 million in the box office. It has a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Roger Ebert said, and I quote, "D3 is a truly dreadful film, a lifeless, massive, childish exercise in failed comedy." Yeah. It didn't receive good reviews. People did not like it. They thought it was lazy. They thought it was repetitive, etc. Let's go back to ERIN for notes. We're back. Let's talk about D3.
All right.
What you think about D3? It's been a minute since you've seen it.
It's been, I don't know. It's gotta be, we're in 2020? So at minimum, it's probably been at least 20 years since I've seen that movie.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, because it came out in 96.
Yeah.
So it's 24 years ago. That makes me feel really good about myself.
So it's been a long time. I saw Joshua Jackson and I thought Dawson's Creek, because I feel like it's right around the same time.
That he's gonna start in that?
Yeah, I think so.
And I had no idea Joshua Jackson was in Dawson's Creek, because all I know about Dawson's Creek is James Van Der Beek and Katie Holmes. That's it. I know nothing else about
Does it make you want to watch it?
I don't know. Although it kind of reminds me One Tree Hill, all those shows that were super or Degrassi. I was actually dreading watching this movie because I hated 2. I hated it. I was probably really mean to that movie. I have to go back and watch my video for it, but I remember disliking it because I was so mad because it was just the exact same movie as the first one.
Yeah.
And the first one isn't amazing. It's good, obviously. Yeah. Classic sports. Yeah. It's no Sandlot or Little Giants, in my opinion. But the first one's good. It's a fun time. But the second one is literally the same movie, just in a different environment. And I was like, nah, I don't care. I'm so mad about this. Gordon lost everything he learned in the first one and has to relearn all. I was really mad, so I was expecting this movie to be the same thing and just in a different environment, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to watch the same movie again. So the fact that it wasn't the same at least made it already a step ahead of D2 because as long as it's not the same, it's a step ahead of D2. I don't think it's better than the first one.
Yeah.
But I did really like that in this one we focused way more on the kids than we did on the coach, because Gordon's gone in this one pretty much, so. Which is another thing I did not expect. I thought Gordon was going to be the coach throughout and they were just going to face new challenges and stuff, and then, like, it was probably halfway through the movie where I was like, okay, so, like, Gordon's not coming back. I was like, so this is really, like, they're just going to have to learn to love Coach O'Ryan, and, like, this is going to go a different direction. Like, I have no idea, like, Gordon's not coming back, like...
The franchise continuation potential?
Yeah, I don't know. So I was really dreading it, but was actually like, okay. I think during the entire first half, when I was still expecting Gordon to come back and, like, learn that he should just be their coach and stop trying to do other things, I was really like, this movie's not great. Like, no, they're all annoying. Like, and then once I realized, like, we were past the point of, like, him ever, like, coming back or anything, I was like, okay, wait. So then I started to try and focus on, like, Coach O'Ryan and, like, all of that, and Charlie's, like, story and stuff, and I started to enjoy it more, and then by the end I was like, yeah, alright, it was much better than 2 at least. Them being all grown up in this one was,
yeah.
Joshua between 2 and this one, I was like, he is a teenager. Like, it is undeniable. And I think they actually did a really good job, though, of showing that, because in the second one he's still like sweet Charlie, you know, and still, and in this one he's straight up is like kind of a jerk in a lot of the movie and like going through some teen stuff. So I thought they did, and I thought he did an excellent job. I thought he grew in acting really well. Did you remember any specific part?
I think little things, like I knew that Adam Banks went to
The varsity
team. I feel like when I was younger, it maybe seemed more dramatized at that point.
Sure, of course.
I guess. It wasn't so dramatized this time. And I thought Scooter the goalie maybe had earlier interactions, like more...
He literally has like 2.
Yeah, but for some reason, I thought he did. So
I feel like I can understand it though, like when you're little, things are just like so, you're like, you know?
But I'm interested in why, like, did they intentionally not have Portman in the whole film, or...
See, I think that was another thing that made me mad throughout the whole movie, was I was like, okay, Emilio's not in this movie, obviously, because he was either busy or had no interest, so he, like, said, okay, I'll agree to this many days of filming. So they were like, okay, we can't have him in the whole movie. And then I was like, okay, for Portman, I definitely think it was a scenario where Aaron Laura was busy with another project.
Yeah.
And could only commit, like, 2 days to filming. Because obviously he's only in, like, 10 minutes of the movie. So, like, I think he could have probably only commit 1 or 2 days to filming. So they had to be like, okay, he's going to be in it, but, like, what's the excuse? Like, Portman decides to stay in Chicago because Bombay is not, you know. So I really think those were both situations. I think Emilio was, he either didn't want to be in it or he couldn't commit. And I think Aaron Laura couldn't commit and could only do, like, the 2 days or whatever. So they had to work around that. Because otherwise I think Portman would have been in it. Yeah. Because he's a very big deal. Like, people really like Portman.
I definitely feel like as a kid it was just more
dramatic
and involved, and maybe that's your just kid brain trying to, like, remember
well
things.
Especially if you were watching it, like, either around their age or younger. I remember when I was younger, I thought every teenage dramatic thing happening was like, and now obviously when you're an adult and you watch a teenage dramatic thing, you're like, oh my goodness. Just, oh no. I get it, I remember feeling that way, but also like, oh no.
So did Coach Orion know that they were watching him?
I know. That bothers me. When I watched it first, I was like, they're literally, like, lit in, like, a spotlight, and he's just having a time with his daughter. How does he not, like, see them and be like, what?
Is this, like, one of those, like, dream montage things where, like, they can't see you, but you can see them situations?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
You're a ghost. Christmas past.
I'm pretty sure I said this during the sequel, but Fulton and Portman are in love, and this movie just solidifies that for me. Like, Fulton straight up doesn't want to play hockey anymore because Portman's not there. He's like, well, how can we be the Bash Brothers? And Portman's not here. And then, like, Portman comes back, and he's, like, totally the first one that runs up to Portman and is like, yes. I'm not mad that Coach Orion was there. I think it would have, obviously, people are invested in the series for Coach Bombay and his relationship with the Ducks and, like, the Ducks themselves. and I wrote down how much more interesting would it have been if Charlie had been acting out against Bombay. Like, I get they have that established relationship, so, and he already respects Bombay, so maybe it wouldn't have happened. But also, I think if there had been enough factors, Charlie would have acted out against Bombay, especially with his attitude in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been way more interesting than him acting out against someone he doesn't know. Of course he's going to act out against a stranger. Like, that makes total sense. He's feeling ditched by Bombay.
Yeah.
And scared in a new school, and then, like, is over everything because he's a teenager. And so, I think it would have been really interesting to see that story play out with Bombay as the coach.
I don't know, maybe just a little bit more involvement in it. You know, he came back and he was like this person that magically made everything better.
Yeah, totally. What I think Brie and I talked about in her interview, actually, for Patreon, Deus Machina. Or no, we talked about it in the Homeward Bound 2 video, which isn't out yet, because this is first. No, that's not true. It is out. Okay, great. We talk about Deus Machina, which is when, like, some unforeseen magical force causes something to happen or whatever. And Han's dying.
Yeah.
Brings everybody back together. So it's like, okay, that was an unforeseen circumstance that brought everybody. And then Bombay just, like, coming in and being like, Charlie, look it. He's got a paraplegic daughter, and he gave up everything for her, which is amazing. We love Coach Orion. Yeah. It's great. But also, it shouldn't take that for Charlie to respect his coach now. Yes. Like, learning more about him, sure. Like, getting to know your coach, of course. But, like, no. And then him just, like, it's like Gordon is just like, stop being a brat. Like, basically, through all of that, it's just stop being a brat and suck it up. And then he's better. And it's like, no. Charlie should have had to go through something or actively, you know, instead of just, you know, Bombay coming back and being like, hey, you respect me? I'm telling you to respect him. Bye. Like. Well,
and then he swoops in and he's always the hero. He's not in the movie for, like, maybe 20 minutes of the movie, and then he's
only in, like, 20 minutes of the movie,
and then he swoops in and he's still the hero.
Yeah. He does the lawyer, he gets Portman back, Yeah. Also, in that whole speech, like, he's showing the picture of himself at Eldon Hall to Charlie, and he's talking about hockey, and I'm like, dude, do you remember the first movie? You gave up hockey because your dad died, and you missed that goal. And, like, you were easily, like, 12 years old. Like, you didn't play hockey in high school. That didn't happen. You gave up hockey all the way until you played it with them in the first movie.
Yeah.
And, like, so what are you talking about? Like, you were a hot shot. You were 12. Like, your dad died, and you gave up hockey because you missed that goal. Like, that, did they forget that that's what happened? The writers?
Maybe.
Because I'm like, did you watch the first two movies before you wrote the script for this one? Like, what is going on? And then he, like, you know, the lawyer and the drinking, that was all true. That all happened, obviously. But, like, they just forgot that he didn't play hockey in high school because he gave up hockey because his dad died and he missed that goal.
I think they were kind of a little cheesy with some of their foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
Fire ants.
There are a few, especially in the 90s, there have been a few movies that are very, like, with foreshadowing, you know, like in Homeward Bound 2, this guy kept throwing his cigar out, and it always, every time, showed a individual shot of the cigar landing on the grass. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, when is the cigar gonna set something on fire? Because I'm kind of getting sick of the foreshadowing of it, because oh my goodness. And in this one, it's like the fire ants, it's just, hey, these are important! Like, oh my goodness.
Why do you have an ant farm of fire ants?
In your principal's office. Like, okay. Like, alright. And then just the heavy, like, scholarship. It's a scholarship. Just so you know, they're there on a scholarship. And, Charlie, you have to prove you're the captain. You gotta prove you're the captain. Charlie's gonna be the captain again, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely some blatant foreshadowing. It's poorly written. The movie's just poorly written. Like, it's got fun parts of it, for sure, and I think the acting, especially, like, Joshua Jackson, I thought was excellent, as I said already. And the kids, the kids really carry the movie. And Coach Orion was good. I think what the director had him do was interesting sometimes, but for the most part, I think the acting excelled against writing that was subpar. Mm-hmm. Which is saying something, because it's a big kid ensemble.
Yeah.
And to have, kids able to take and do something with that material is good.
I didn't like the whole, well, of course, in teen drama there's going to be some kissing or whatever. I didn't like the cheerleader situation.
Yeah, that was gross. Why didn't you like it?
I don't think it promoted the right message.
Okay, I agree. Because, well, him climbing under the table,
yeah, I didn't like that.
Was grody.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then him ending up with that cheerleader, it's like, first of all, they're both terrible people.
Yeah.
Like, yikes, she didn't even break up with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then just do it right there in front of the boyfriend. Yeah, that's just not cool.
Yeah.
That's not... And, like, they're trying to push it, like, it's like, oh, look, he won the girl. But it's like, no, she was in a relationship with that person. That's not okay. That's not cool.
Yeah.
He should be better because he's a duck.
Gordon Bombay exit
from
the franchise scene.
Yeah, definitely they don't need me anymore. And, like, insinuates that he's never going to see them again. When I'm like, yo, you better see all of them again.
Kind of like when you watch a soap opera and, like, someone's, like, for real died. Like, they cut him out of the show forever or whatever. Yeah. And, or they're never coming back. They do this whole, like, montage, dramatic leaving thing. That's what happened.
Well, the montage at the beginning of, like, the first two movies, and then they have to do the first, like, win of Bombay and Charlie at the end with the fireworks shooting out the hands. Like, it's too much. What would you rate the movie?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Oh, that's high. Good for you. 7 hockey pucks, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 5 hockey pucks out of 10. Our total movie count is... Parent Death Toll and Crack Count are still the same. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram or Twitter. You can find out what movie I'm watching when. Follow Erin at Sweet Pea Treats. I got it right there. On Instagram, she makes really good cookies and cakes and things. They're delicious. I actually haven't had one of your cookies in a long time, and I'm kind of mad about it. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
It's the week of guests. It's a celebration.
Yay.
You're welcome. I love having you. It's a treat. We got to figure out what movie next you're gonna do. I put out videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Go over to Patreon. I'm serious. There's so much bonus stuff going on over there. She requested Empire Records, which was super fun. I can tell you about it. I'll tell you about it after. And her interview will also be posted at the same time that this video was posted. So go on over there because there's so much going on over on Patreon. I'm serious. Please go sign up and watch all that stuff I'm making over there because it's a lot of work and it's really fun. But like, there's only 2 people watching it, so like, please, thanks. 400 is soon. 4th anniversary soon. I'm super hyped about it. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe. But I'm subscribe. You are, so you do. And don't be, I guess, the varsity team about it. The dean.
I don't know about the dean, but maybe what was the enforcer guy?
Oh yeah, that.
Or the jerky captain.
Yeah, either of them, because they didn't really learn their lessons and they were brats. So don't be them. Don't bully kids. Peace. Well, we didn't do a thumbnail.